bracket, guys. All right? Excellent. So we're going to go another step now and finish this question. Right? As Jazeel said, we had the x cubed to worry about. So we're going to put this x cubed out here. I'm going to put it right out here. Put it right out here. So let's take it step by step again. Right? The next thing that we had to do, what was step 2? What was step 2, guys?
Subtract the index, sir.
Right. So we're gonna subtract.
What's step 3, sir?
So we're gonna as Khalil said, we're gonna subtract the index.
Sir, but what is step 3? I'm not playing.
Step 3 was for you.
Step 3.
Step 3 was for you to simplify if there was any other to simplify. But because we didn't have anything else to simplify, we didn't use step 3. But step 3 was just essentially for you to simplify. If that makes sense. Right? But let's go back into this question. Right? We have now 3x bracket x minus 3, right, divided by x cubed. So I'm going to draw this now, and I'm going to show you what we have. Let's put it here. Follow along with me.
I don't understand, sir, the question.
Right, because you missed it, but not to worry. As I said, you're just going to watch over the recording for me, Khalil, and then ask me your questions after class.
But sir.
Right, because remember, right, everyone else was here, Khalil, and it'll be unfair for me to stop the entire class and then go over what we've taught already when the class is recorded. All right?
But sir, I don't understand what you, sir, is to find the answer.
Not to worry, not to worry. Just follow along with me, right? So Khalil, look at this for me. Look at this for me. Let's go step by step. We have 3x, right? We have x. Multiply these two for me. What would you get, Khalil? 3x times x would give you just x squared or 3x squared?
3x squared.
Exactly. So that means that we have what we just had here. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Follow along with me. We have now minus 3. So multiply 3x times minus 3. What do you get?
3x, negative nothing.
No, 3x times negative 3 will give you what?
3x times x.
All right.
3.
Well, hold on. 3 times negative 3 gives you?
3 times negative 3 gives you 9.
Negative 9, correct? Because you still keep the negative sign, remember? So,
Yes, sir.
right? That means that we have negative 9 now times x, and that gives you?
Negative 9 times x equals negative 9.
X
minus negative 9.
Right, okay, good. So that means that we have exactly what we have here. Let's put that there. So this is another way to express 3x squared minus 9x. Understand, Khalil?
Yes, sir. So what is the answer to this sum, sir?
Let's do it together, right? Look at this for me now.
That's a mistake because of I'm still doing internet, which is stupid.
All right, so look at this for me now. Guys, so what we have now is a case where we can just subtract the index, right? So when we had originally 3x squared, right? So let's just put 3x squared right here quickly. What was the index in x for me? 2, correct?
Yes, sir.
Right? So we could say subtract 2 here. Because the rule is to cancel. Remember the first rule, Khalil. The second rule was for you to subtract the index, the smaller from the larger. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir. But I don't see any 2 anywhere.
No, 3x squared. Look at the question right here. Here it says 3x squared right here.
Yes, sir.
Right. So we subtract the smaller index, which is x squared, from the larger index, which is x to the third. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So that in a sense, we got x to the third minus 2. And what would that give you, Khalil?
What would that give me?
Yeah, 3 minus 2 will give you?
1.
Right. So let's put that on. We have, in essence, x to the 1 right here. But we have another x to worry about. It says we have negative 9x. So what would we do now? We would say x to the 1 minus this 1 as well, correct?
Yes, sir.
Right. So we would say minus 1. 3 minus 2 gives us 1. 1 minus 1 gives us 0. That means we have nothing in, well, we have really 1, I should say. We have x to the 0. No, we have x to the 0, which is not 0. X to the 0 is 1. Remember the rule? No. Do you remember the rule for indices, Khalil, from earlier? Right. The rule of indices said that anytime you have a number raised to the power of 0, that gives it a value of 1. Right, 1. Now, let's continue now. So, in essence, what we have now is really just 3. Right? Let's put it. All we have left is 3. Remember, the x squared got subtracted. Right? We have 3. Right? Minus 9. My bad.
So what is going on with your screen?
I am not sure. I think it's glitching a little bit. All right, let's go again. We have 3 minus 9 all divided by x to the 0, which is what? 1, correct?
Sir, we like simplify 9 before.
Yeah, we did. But when we want to work it out, Jazil, which one is easier? Working with this method, which has multiplication to be done, or just using the method that we got in the question, where we just subtract the indices as normal?
Sorry, that's one of subtract the indices.
Right, so this one is easier, but the reason why I showed you this method, Jazil, was to explain the topic that we're going to do next, which is called distributive law. Right, it's just an introduction to it. Right? Right. So let's go back here. We had 3x squared, and we took that 2 and subtracted from the denominator, which was x cubed, and we got x to the 1. We had minus 9x, and we took that minus 9 and the x subtracted from the denominator of x to the 1. We only got 1. So therefore, our answer is going to be 3 minus 9. And what would that give us? Negative 6. Everybody agrees?
Yes, sir.
Good. Right. And as I said,
because 9 is way too big to go into 3 anyways.
Right. So the reason why, as I said before, guys, the reason why I showed you this method where I said 3x bracket x minus 3 is because that's going to be our next topic, which is called brackets. Let me write it down. The next topic is going to be called brackets distributive law. So what I want you to do, right, I'm going to give you a little introduction to it. You're going to define what you think brackets of distributive law is based on what we did a while ago, right? So you're going to write a definition based on what you think brackets of distributive law means. If I told you that we had 3x squared, and an easier way to do it was to pull out what is common to both. So write it in a little sentence for me, right? And then give me the homework. Let's go on the homework. Exercise 9J, questions 8 to 10, right? And exercise 9I, questions 4 to 6. But this exercise 9I is not due next class, right? So you don't have to do this yet. The one is
But sir, I don't have the book too, sir. What should I do, sir?
Right. What did I say at the beginning, guys? Anyone remember? If you don't have the book, what should you do?
Send you an email, sir.
Right. And as soon as class is gonna... Right. So I have your email now. So after class, I'm gonna send you, Khalil, the snapshots of the book, so I can just have you still doing the work, even while you don't have the book. Sounds good? Oh, you have it? Okay, good. So you're gonna go on page 224 for the exercise. Page 224. There you go. There we go. Okay. So you're gonna do those 2 questions, right, as homework. So let's recap what we did before we stop. Right. So our goal today, let's go here. Our goal, my bad. Right. Our goal was to divide algebraic terms. Right? We used only method 1. Right? And the reason why I only taught you method 1 is because this is the part where the best method is method 1, really. So you don't need to worry about, for example, to write every single b, right, and then divide it, because that would be the second method where you just write out, for example, if you have b to the cube, you just write 20 times a times b times b times b. Anyone remember that? Let me write it out. The alternative method, as you remember, the alternative method. Can anyone remember what the alternative method was? Where we only write out how many we had. So if we had, let's do this quickly. If we had 20 times a, how many b's did we have?
3.
So we would say times b times b times b divided by 5. How many a's do we have in the second fraction? So we would say times a times a. And how many b's do we have?
1.
Right, times b. So if this method is comfortable for you, you can go ahead and do it, where you just now cross out. So say, for example, this one would have been eliminated. That one would have been eliminated. So the only thing you have left is 1a. You would cross out another b here and another b here. So all you have left is 20 b times b. And what do we say b times b is? B squared. So we have 20b squared, right, divided by 5a. And we... Uh-huh.
Sir, I just sent you an email, sir, about the book too, sir.
Not a problem. I'll check it after. So that's the alternative method. So if you are comfortable using this method, not a problem, right? But as we get down the line, I want you to start to go into method 1, because that's what's going to be really assessed, right? So begin to use this method just to get comfortable with it, where you write out every single time you have a power, right? That's alternative method. We went to the procedure. The procedure 1 was to cancel common factors. Then procedure 2, subtract the smaller index from the larger. And then, as I said, step 3, but we didn't get to do step 3, was for you to simplify. All right? Simplify. Simplify. Sounds good, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Everybody understands?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Sir, I said I could go to send a screenshot to write that the girl store or tomorrow morning yet.
No, I'll send you the notebook right now. Not a problem. So here you go.
I'm talking about the screenshot for the homework, sir.
Oh. I'm going to send it directly after class. Not to worry. Or I think in the lunchtime, because I'm going to have a class directly after this. So not to worry, though. But I'll send it directly after. Right? Exercise 9J.
I'll check my email at first.
Right.
I'll check my email at lunch, right? Sir?
Right. So let's check it at lunch now. It'll be there. As I said, exercise 9J, page 224. Right. Any questions, guys? All right. I need to hear from the quiet students. Hearing them say no, sir, I understand. So let me ask quickly. Nicholas, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let me ask Jazeel, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. Ludi, do you understand?
Yes, sir, I understand the work.
All right, let me ask David. I don't see your camera on. Turn on your camera for me. And Emma and Kamali. Do you guys understand?
So the meeting's going to end.
Ah,